Have you ever stopped to think that the door that closed in your life might not have been a punishment but rather divine protection? What if I told you that the universe is working in your favor right now, even when everything seems to be going wrong? My dear Libra, this video will completely change the way you see the obstacles that have appeared in your path. Because what seems like a problem isn't always a problem. Sometimes it's exactly the opposite. Did you know that Libra is one of the most protected signs of the zodiac? That's right. And this protection comes in a very special way, which you often don't realize at the moment it's happening. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, perfectly knows the kind and generous heart of Libra. It knows that you often put the needs of others before your own. It knows that you have difficulty saying no. It knows that you seek harmony at any cost, even if it means sacrificing your own inner peace. Therefore, when certain doors close in your life, it's not because you don't deserve to go through them. It's because something much bigger and better is waiting for you elsewhere. It's because the universe is protecting you from situations that could steal your energy, people who could hurt your sensitive heart, or paths that would lead you away from your true purpose in life. Today, you're going to discover 9 clear signs that the universe is closing doors specifically to protect you. And when you finish watching this video, you'll look back and finally understand why that job didn't work out, why that relationship ended, why that opportunity that seemed perfect simply disappeared. You'll realize it wasn't abandonment. It was care. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. And most importantly, you'll learn to trust this divine process that is guiding your steps, even when the path seems confusing. Sign 1. You feel an inexplicable unease before things go wrong. The first sign that the universe is closing doors to protect you is that strange feeling you can't quite explain. You know when you're about to make a decision and something inside you starts to get restless? It's not ordinary fear, it's not normal insecurity. It's different. It's as if a soft voice is trying to warn you, but you still can't hear the words clearly. It's as if your whole body is trying to tell you something important, but your rational mind hasn't yet grasped the message. For Libra, this sign is especially strong because you are ruled by Venus, the planet of intuition and sensitivity. You have a very developed sixth sense, even if you don't consciously believe it. The problem is that you often ignore this intuition because it conflicts with what you want to happen. You want things to work out so badly, you want to maintain peace and harmony so badly, that you end up pushing these signs under the rug. You think it's just anxiety, just your way of being overly worried. But it's not. This unease is the universe speaking directly to your soul. It's your spiritual protection system working perfectly. When you feel this inexplicable discomfort before signing a contract, before entering into a partnership, before starting a relationship, pay close attention. Don't ignore it. Don't try to rationalize and convince yourself that everything is all right. Because if the universe is sending you this warning, it's because it sees something that you can't yet see. Think about the times you felt that unease and ignored it. What happened next? The door closed anyway, didn't it? But then it hurt more because you had to go through the process of trying to force something that simply wasn't meant to be. You spent energy, time, hope, and in the end you discovered that that initial unease was right all along. It was protecting you from a greater disappointment, from deeper suffering, from a detour that would take you far away from where you need to be. Now think about those times when you respected that feeling, even without fully understanding it. When you said no to that opportunity that seemed too good to be true. When you walked away from that person everyone thought was perfect for you, but something in your heart said no. What happened? You later discovered you made the right choice. You avoided problems you can't even imagine. And that wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. It was the universe closing that door before you went in and got hurt inside. Restlessness is the language of the divine speaking through your body. When you feel a tightness in your chest, when your stomach churns, when you can't sleep properly even without apparent reason, stop. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself what the universe is trying to tell you. Because Libra, you were blessed with all this sensitivity precisely to be able to receive these warnings. Don't let your desire to please, to keep the peace, to not disappoint anyone, make you ignore the most powerful protection system that exists. Your own intuition connected to universal wisdom. And remember, this restlessness isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to save you. It's not meant to paralyze you. It's meant to redirect you. The universe never closes a door without opening a much bigger, much more beautiful window, much more aligned with your true purpose. But you need to trust the process. You need to stop fighting the signs and start listening to what they are trying to teach you. Sign 2. The right people naturally start to drift away. The second sign may be one of the most painful to recognize, but it's also one of the most important. When the universe is protecting you, it not only closes doors of opportunity, but also of relationships. And this happens in a very specific way. The people who are no longer meant for your journey begin to naturally drift away from your life. There doesn't need to be a big fight. There doesn't need to be betrayal. There doesn't need to be drama. Simply, little by little, that friendship cools down. That relationship loses intensity. That person who was always around starts to become distant. For you, Libra, this is especially difficult because you value relationships above almost everything else. You are the sign of the scales, of balance, of harmony in relationships. You give a lot to the people you love. You do everything to keep connections alive and healthy. Therefore, when someone starts to drift away, you feel like you're failing in some way. You wonder what you did wrong. You try even harder. You call, text, make plans, offer help. But nothing seems to work. And this leaves you distressed, confused, even guilty. But let me tell you a very important secret that can change everything for you. Not every separation is abandonment. Sometimes it's liberation. Not every separation is loss. Sometimes it's gain. The universe knows exactly which people carry energies that no longer match the phase you are entering. It knows which friendships are trapping you in old patterns that you need to overcome. It knows which relationships are draining your light instead of helping you shine brighter. And the most beautiful thing about all this is that the universe makes this process happen naturally, without anyone needing to be the villain of the story. The person simply starts to follow their path and you follow yours. There is no bitterness. There is no resentment. It's as if your lives are both going in different directions, and that's perfectly fine. But you, with your generous Libra heart, often try to force the permanence of people who have already fulfilled their purpose in your life. How many times have you tried to save a friendship that was clearly coming to an end? How many times have you accepted crumbs of attention from someone who once gave you the whole world? How many times have you settled for far less than you deserve just to avoid facing the reality that that person is no longer part of your life? And what happened? You suffered more. You felt rejected, devalued, forgotten. Because when you try to hold on to what the universe is letting go of, you only prolong your own pain. Now imagine if, instead of resisting, you trusted. Imagine if you understood that every person who leaves your life is making room for someone better to enter. Someone who will truly value you. Someone who will be aligned with who you are becoming. Someone who will add to your journey instead of subtracting from it. The universe never leaves you empty. It only removes what no longer serves you to put in what you truly need. And there's one more thing you need to understand. Sometimes, people drift away because they themselves realize they can no longer keep up with your evolution. It's not their fault. It's not your fault. Everyone has their own pace of growth, and these paces aren't always compatible. You are expanding, evolving, transforming into a better version of yourself. And some people will celebrate that with you. Others will feel threatened, uncomfortable, or simply realize they no longer have an affinity with this new version of you. And that's okay. Let it go. Be grateful for the memories, the lessons, the moments you shared. But don't try to hold on to anyone who wants to fly somewhere else. Because while your hands are busy holding on to the past, you won't be able to embrace the wonderful future that's coming. The universe is closing those doors of relationships to protect you from connections that would keep you small when you were made to be great. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal, and you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. Let's continue with our video now. Sign 3. Opportunities that seemed perfect disappear at the last minute. The third sign is the one that frustrates Libra the most because it directly affects their need for security and stability. You're doing incredibly well in a selection process, you've passed all the stages, you were practically hired, and suddenly the position is cancelled. You were about to close an important deal, everything was settled, everything was agreed upon, and at the last minute the person backs out without explanation. You found the perfect house, everything was set to rent or buy, and out of nowhere a problem arises that prevents the deal from happening. It seems cruel, doesn't it? It seems like the universe is playing with you, giving you hope only to then snatch everything from your hands. But that's not what's happening. Absolutely not. What's happening is that the universe is protecting you from a choice that seemed good on the surface, but had hidden problems you couldn't see. Think about it. If that job was so perfect, why was it canceled? Maybe the company was going through financial problems you didn't know about. Maybe the work environment was toxic and you would have been unhappy there. Maybe that boss who seemed nice in the interview was actually a very difficult person to deal with. The universe saw all of that and said, "No, this Libra needs something better. I'm going to close that door now before they come in and suffer." For Libra, who loves planning, having everything organized, and knowing what's coming next, these unexpected events are especially challenging. You had already imagined yourself in that job. You had already planned your routine. You had already told your family and friends. And when the opportunity slips away at the last second, you feel shame, frustration, and confusion. You wonder why you were taken so far in the process only for it not to work out in the end. It seems like a waste of time, doesn't it? But it wasn't a waste of time. It was preparation. Every experience, even those that don't materialize, prepares you for the right moment. Those interviews trained you to talk better about yourself. That process made you organize your ideas, update your resume, think about what you really want. And most importantly, that closed door kept you available for the right door that is about to open. Because if you had accepted that opportunity that seemed perfect but wasn't, you wouldn't be free when the truly perfect opportunity appeared. The universe works with a divine timing that doesn't always make sense to our human minds. We want things now, our way, on our timeline. But there's a greater plan happening behind the scenes of your life. There's a perfect coordination of events, people, and circumstances aligning to take you exactly where you need to be. And sometimes for this alignment to happen, certain doors need to close, even doors you desperately wanted to go through. Think about the stories you've heard of people who missed a flight and then found out that the plane had problems. Or people who couldn't buy a house and then discovered that the house had serious structural problems. Or people who weren't hired for a job and then the company went bankrupt. These stories are not coincidences. They are proof that divine protection is operating all the time in each of our lives. And it's no different with you, my dear Libra. Every opportunity that vanished at the last minute was protecting you from something. You may never discover exactly what you were protected from, and that's okay. You don't need to know all the details. You just need to trust that the universe sees much further than you do. It sees the complete picture of your life, while you can only see the present moment. It knows which paths will lead you to true happiness, and which will lead you to dead ends. So the next time an opportunity that seemed perfect slips through your fingers at the last minute, take a deep breath. Don't despair. Don't panic. Don't start thinking you're not good enough, or that you'll never get what you want. Instead, say, "Universe, I trust you. I know you're protecting me. I know you have something better prepared for me. And I choose to believe that the best is yet to come." This change of perspective will completely transform how you deal with closed doors in your life. Sign 4. You start having strange or recurring dreams. The fourth sign occurs on a plane that many completely ignore: the world of dreams. When the universe is working to protect you and close doors that aren't meant for you, it uses all available channels to communicate with you. And one of the most powerful channels is your subconscious, which manifests itself mainly during sleep. Have you been waking up in the middle of the night with a racing heart after a strange dream? Have you been repeatedly dreaming about similar situations, even if the details change? Have you been having those vivid dreams that seem real and stay with you all day? These aren't just random dreams created by your mind. They are messages. They are warnings. They are ways for the universe to show you truths you can't yet see when you're awake. For Libra, who often over-rationalizes situations and always tries to see the bright side of everything, dreams are a way to break down these mental barriers and show reality as it truly is. In the dream world, you can't lie to yourself. You can't disguise what you really feel. You can't ignore the signs you're avoiding in your daily life. How many times have you dreamed about a person and felt that sense of alertness? How many times have you dreamed about dangerous or uncomfortable situations involving something you were considering doing in real life? How many times have you woken up with an inexplicable certainty that you needed to change something, even if you didn't know exactly what? These are all signs that the universe is protecting you through your subconscious. Recurring dreams, in particular, deserve your full attention. When you dream about the same thing several times, it's not because your mind is being repetitive for no reason. It's because there's an important message you haven't yet grasped. It's as if the universe is knocking on your door repeatedly saying, Pay attention to this. This is important. You're ignoring something you need to see. And often, these recurring dreams are showing you exactly which door is being closed to protect you. You might dream that you're trying to open a door but it won't open. You might dream that you're on a path and suddenly a barrier appears. You might dream of murky water, darkness, or a feeling of danger. All these symbols are ways your subconscious, connected to universal wisdom, is alerting you to situations that are unsafe for you. And the most interesting thing is that you often have these dreams even before making an important decision, as if the universe were preparing you to better accept the door that is about to close. There are also dreams where you feel relieved. You dream that something you really wanted didn't happen, and you feel a sense of freedom, of relief. These dreams are especially important because they show you truths you don't want to admit when you're awake. Maybe you're forcing something that deep down you don't really want. Maybe you're pursuing something because of external pressure, because you think you should want it, but your soul knows it's not the right path for you. And I'm not talking about complex dream interpretation here. I'm talking about paying attention to how you feel when you wake up. Pay attention to whether you wake up scared, anxious, uncomfortable. Pay attention to whether you wake up relieved, at peace, with clarity. These feelings are just as important as the dream images themselves, because the universe isn't trying to confuse you with complicated symbols. It's trying to show you the truth in the clearest way possible, so that you can protect yourself. So start valuing your dreams more. When you wake up from a vivid dream, take a piece of paper and write it down. Write everything you remember, especially how you felt. And over the days, observe if there is any connection between your dreams and the situations you are experiencing. You will begin to notice patterns. You will begin to understand that those strange dreams with a certain person were warning you that that friendship wasn't genuine. You will realize that those dreams of being trapped or suffocated were showing you that that relationship wasn't healthy. The world of dreams is a direct bridge between you and the divine. It's a space where the ego cannot interfere, where masks fall, where the truth is revealed. And the universe uses this bridge to protect you, to guide you, to show you which doors you should keep closed even when everything within you wants to force them open. Trust your dreams. They are trying to save you from paths that would only bring suffering. Sign 5. Obstacles arise in a chain without logical explanation. The fifth sign is when everything seems to conspire against you to prevent something specific from happening. It's not just one problem. It's several problems in a row, one after the other, as if the universe were literally blocking that path. You're going on a trip and you lose a document. You manage to get another document quickly and then you get sick. You recover from the illness and then an unexpected financial problem arises. It's as if every time you try to take a step in that direction, something new appears to stop you. For most people, this seems like bad luck. Seems like persecution. Seems like nothing ever goes right. But for those who understand the language of the universe, this is a very clear sign of divine protection. When so many things go wrong in a row trying to stop you from doing something, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because you're being protected from something you can't see but that the universe sees perfectly. Libra, with its determination to make things work, often interprets these obstacles as challenges to be overcome. You think, I won't give up, I'll keep trying, I'll find a way. And there are situations where this persistence is beautiful and necessary. But there are other situations where this persistence is you fighting against your own divine protection. It's you trying to force open a door that the universe is explicitly telling you not to open. The difference lies in how you feel during this process. When you're fighting for something that's truly yours, that's aligned with your purpose, challenges arise, but you feel an inner strength propelling you forward. You feel it's worthwhile. You feel enthusiasm even in the face of difficulties. But when you're trying to force something that the universe is blocking to protect you, you feel exhausted. You feel like you're swimming against the current. You feel like every step is an impossible struggle. Think about how nature works. When you try to push a door that opens the other way, no matter how hard you try, it won't open. You might even manage to force it open, but you'll destroy the door in the process and hurt yourself. But if you stop pushing and pulling, it opens easily. That's exactly how it works with the doors the universe is closing on you. You might even manage to force them open, but you'll hurt yourself in the process, you'll expend enormous energy, and when you finally get in, you'll discover that it wasn't what you needed. There are incredible stories of people who tried everything to make something happen and failed, only to later discover that if they had succeeded, they would have been involved in terrible situations. The person who missed the flight that later crashed. The person who couldn't close a deal with someone who later turned out to be dishonest. The person who had 1,000 problems getting to a place and then discovered that something dangerous had happened there on that very day. These stories teach us that a chain of obstacles is not punishment, it's protection. So when you realize you're facing one obstacle after another trying to make something happen, stop. Breathe. Ask yourself, am I trying to force something that isn't meant to be? Is the universe protecting me from something? And pay attention to the answer that comes from your heart. Because deep down you always know when you're forcing something that doesn't flow naturally. This doesn't mean you should give up at the first sign of difficulty. It means you need to develop the wisdom to differentiate between obstacles that are tests to strengthen you and obstacles that are blocks to protect you. Tests make you grow and you feel it. Blocks exhaust you and you feel that too. Learn to read these signs. Your body knows. Your soul knows. Your intuition knows. And when you finally accept that that particular door isn't for you, something miraculous will happen. The obstacles will disappear because you've stopped fighting against divine protection. And very quickly a new door will open, and this time everything will flow easily. You'll look back and be grateful for every obstacle that prevented you from going down that wrong path. You'll thank the universe for protecting you, even when you didn't want to be protected. Sign 6. You lose interest in something that previously seemed important. The 6th sign is subtle but extremely powerful. You simply lose interest in something that was once super important to you. And it's not that you're giving up out of tiredness or frustration. It's different. It's as if that will, that desire, that motivation has been taken from within you. You wake up one day and realize that you simply don't want it anymore with the same intensity. And this confuses you because you don't understand what changed. What has changed is that the universe is adjusting your desires so that they align with your true purpose. Often we want things that we don't actually need. We want things because society says we should want them. We want things because other people around us want them. We want things because we believe they will bring us happiness. But the universe knows what will truly make you happy. It knows your soul's purpose. And when something is not aligned with that, it gently removes that interest from within you. For Libra, who often gets lost trying to meet external expectations, this sign is especially important. You are very concerned with making people happy, with meeting their expectations, with maintaining harmony. Therefore, sometimes you pursue goals that aren't truly yours. You want that job because your parents will be proud. You want that relationship because everyone thinks you're a good match. You want that achievement because it will impress people. But that's not what your soul truly desires. And then the universe intervenes. It doesn't take these things away from you abruptly. It doesn't cause trauma. It simply diminishes your interest little by little. You start to realize that you're no longer excited when you think about it. You start to realize that you no longer care about it. You start to realize that you can imagine your life without it and even feel relieved. This is the universe closing that door from within you, at the level of desire, so that you don't suffer trying to force something that wasn't yours from the beginning. How many times have you desperately wanted something, fought for it, and when you finally got it, realized it wasn't what you imagined? How many times have you achieved a goal and felt emptiness instead of the expected happiness? This happens when we pursue desires that aren't authentic, that don't come from our true essence. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, is protecting you from spending years of your life chasing things that ultimately won't bring you the fulfillment you seek. And there's something even more beautiful about all this. When the universe removes a desire that wasn't yours, it always puts a new desire in its place. But this one is genuine, it's true, it's aligned with who you really are. Suddenly you find yourself wanting things that never even crossed your mind before. Suddenly you develop new interests. Suddenly a completely different path begins to attract you. And this path, yes, is your true path. So don't be afraid when you realize you're losing interest in something that was once important. Don't force yourself to keep wanting something your heart no longer desires. Don't blame yourself for being fickle or giving up easily. You're not giving up. You're being redirected. You're being adjusted to the right path. You're being protected from wasting your precious life energy on goals that weren't yours to start with. And this process of losing interest is the universe's kindest way of closing a door. Because when you lose interest, you close the door from the inside. You don't feel rejection. You don't feel failure. You simply feel that it no longer makes sense to you. And when you voluntarily close the door, you are free to turn around and see all the other wonderful doors that are opening in front of you. Libra, trust this process. If something you really wanted is losing importance in your life, don't fight it. Let it go. Be grateful that that desire moved you for a while, but understand that now it's time to let it go. Because the universe is preparing you for bigger, truer desires, more aligned with your soul's mission here on Earth. And these new desires will take you to places you can't even imagine yet. Sign 7. People around you begin to discourage you in unusual ways. The 7th sign happens through the people around you. Suddenly, several different people who don't even know each other start discouraging you from doing something specific. It's not that they're being mean or envious. It's different. It's genuine concern. It's real discomfort. It's as if the universe is using these people as instruments to send you an important message. And the message is, don't go down that path. There's something wrong here that you're not seeing. Now pay attention. I'm not talking about negative people who always discourage everything you do. There are people like that who have a habit of throwing cold water on any dream, on any plan. You learn to filter them out. I'm talking about when sensible people who generally support you, people you can count on, suddenly they're all warning you about the same thing. That's not a coincidence. That's the universe speaking through them. For Libra, who highly values the opinions of others and likes to consider different perspectives before making decisions, this sign can be both a blessing and a challenge. It's a blessing because you are naturally open to hearing what people have to say. But it's a challenge because you can become too confused with so many opinions and not know which one to follow. The key here is to notice when there is a pattern. When several people, independently of each other, are seeing the same red flag, pay attention. Think about that friend who never gives their opinion on your decisions, but this time came to talk to you with concern. Think about that family member who always supports you in everything, but this time is hesitant. Think about that colleague who barely knows the details of the situation but felt something strange and decided to share. When these people, who have no reason to sabotage you, are all feeling something strange, the universe is using their sensitivity to protect you. And there's more. Often these people can't even properly explain why they're discouraging you. They say things like, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't feel this is good for you. Or something tells me you should wait a little longer before deciding. Or even, I have a strange feeling about this. These phrases are clear evidence that the universe is working through these people's intuition to send you a warning. The problem is that we often ignore these warnings. We think people are exaggerating. We think they don't understand the situation as we do. We think they're afraid because they themselves wouldn't have the courage to do what we're doing. And sometimes that might even be true. But when it's a pattern, when several different people are saying the same thing, you need to at least seriously consider that there's something there that deserves your attention. And you know what's even more interesting? After time passes and you discover that that decision really wouldn't have been good, you remember those people who warned you and think they were right all along. How did they know? They didn't know rationally. They felt it. And they felt it because the universe used their sensitivity as a channel to protect you. But you, at the time, ignored it because you were too emotionally involved in that situation to see it clearly. So the next time you notice that several people around you are discouraging you from doing something, don't immediately dismiss it as just their fears or limitations. Stop. Reflect. Ask yourself, are all these people picking up on something I'm not seeing? Is the universe trying to protect me through them? And then do something very important. Ask these people exactly what they are feeling. Let them talk. Really listen. Often, when you give people space to explain their concerns without judging them, important details emerge. Details you had ignored or minimized. Perspectives you hadn't considered. Possibilities that hadn't crossed your mind. And all of this together can give you the clarity you need to understand that the door you're trying to open is exactly the door the universe is trying to keep closed to protect you. Sign 8. You have a constant feeling that something is not right. The 8th sign is that persistent feeling that something isn't right, even when everything seems fine on the surface. There's nothing concrete you can point to. There's no clear evidence. But there's a constant unease, as if something is out of place. It's like when you leave home and have the feeling you've forgotten something important, but you can't remember what it is. Or when you're in a place and feel you shouldn't be there, but you can't explain why. This feeling is your spiritual alarm system kicking in. It's your connection to the divine trying to warn you that something is wrong in that situation, on that path, in that decision. For Libra, who sometimes ignores their own intuition to avoid conflict or appearing irrational, this sign can be especially difficult to accept. You try to rationalize. You try to find concrete proof. You try to convince yourself that you're just being paranoid or exaggerating. But it's not. When you have a persistent feeling that something isn't right, even if everything seems perfect on paper, trust that feeling. It's the wisdom of your soul manifesting. It's the universe nudging you, alerting you, asking you to pay attention. And often, this feeling appears precisely in situations where everything seems too good to be true, where the people around you are saying you're lucky, where logically everything makes sense, but energetically something is misaligned. Think about how many times you've ignored that feeling and regretted it later. How many times have you accepted something even while feeling that discomfort deep down, only to later discover there was a very real reason for that unease? How many times have you entered a situation saying to yourself, let's see what happens, even though you felt you shouldn't be there, and then had to deal with the consequences of not trusting your own intuition? This feeling that something is wrong can manifest in various ways. It could be a tension in your body that won't go away. It could be mental restlessness that prevents you from relaxing. It could be a weight on your heart that you can't explain. It could be an inexplicable urge to run away from that situation. All these physical and emotional manifestations are ways your being is trying to protect you from something that your conscious mind hasn't yet identified. And most importantly, you don't need to understand the reason to trust this feeling. You don't need proof. You don't need to be able to explain it to others. You just need to honor what you are feeling. Because this feeling is the universe energetically closing that door even before it physically closes. It's your spirit preparing you to accept the closure that is to come, or giving you the opportunity to close that door yourself before you get hurt. Libra, develop the courage to trust your intuition, even when it doesn't make logical sense. Develop the courage to say no to things that seem good but don't feel right. Develop the courage to honor what you feel even when you can't explain it. Because that feeling that something isn't right is one of the most powerful protection systems you possess. It's the wisdom of millions of years of evolution manifesting through your body and soul. And when you start respecting that feeling, you'll realize it never deceives you. Every time you feel something isn't right and trust that feeling, you protect yourself from complicated situations, from untrustworthy people, from paths that would only bring suffering. And every time you ignore that feeling, you end up putting yourself in situations that could have been avoided if you had simply trusted what you were feeling from the beginning. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal, and you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. Sign 9. External events force changes you wouldn't make voluntarily. The 9th and final sign is when situations completely beyond your control force you to change direction. You were absolutely determined to follow a certain path, and suddenly something external happens that makes it impossible to continue. The company closes. The person moves to another country. The program you wanted to do is canceled. The pandemic changes everything. These are events that you could not have foreseen and cannot control, but that force you to take a different course than the one you had planned. These events seem like cruelty on the part of fate, don't they? It seems like life is taking control away from you, pushing you to places you don't want to go. But in reality, they are demonstrations of the universe's love for you. Because there are situations where you are so convinced that a certain path is the right one, so determined to follow a specific direction, that the universe needs to intervene more drastically to redirect you. It tried to warn you in more subtle ways, but you didn't listen, so it had to use a stronger method. For Libra, who likes to be in control of their choices and prides themselves on making well-thought-out decisions, these external events are especially challenging. You feel like you're losing power over your own life. You feel frustrated that you can't do what you had planned. You feel angry that you're being forced to change direction. And all of these feelings are valid and understandable. But beneath these feelings, there is a greater truth that you need to see. The truth is that sometimes we become so attached to a specific plan, to a specific vision of how our life should be, that we become blind to all the other wonderful possibilities that exist. We put all our chips on a single option and refuse to consider alternatives. And when that happens, the universe needs to gently, or sometimes not so gently, remove that option from the table so that you can see what else is available to you. Think of the stories of people who lost their jobs and were forced to start the business they always dreamed of, but never had the courage to pursue. Think of people whose relationships ended unexpectedly, leading them to meet the love of their lives. Think of people who had to move due to circumstances beyond their control and discovered a place where they are much happier. All these stories begin with an external event that seemed terrible at the time, but in the end turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And it's not that these bad things are good. The pain is real. The suffering is real. The confusion is real. But the redirection is also real. The protection is also real. The universe's love for you is also real. That external event that forced you to change course didn't happen because the universe wants to see you suffer. It happened because the universe loves you so much that it won't allow you to waste your precious life on a path that isn't your true path. And there's something very important you need to understand. These external events that force change always open doors you didn't even know existed. At the moment the event happens, you only see the door closing. You only see what you're losing. You only see the plan being destroyed. But if you can take a deep breath, accept the change and start looking around, you'll discover that there are doors opening everywhere. Doors that lead you to much better places than the one you were trying to reach. The great challenge is developing the flexibility to accept these forced changes without resorting to total resistance. It's understanding that just because something isn't happening the way you plan doesn't mean it's going wrong. Sometimes the best things in life happen precisely when our plans are thwarted. Sometimes the greatest gift the universe can give us is taking away something we desperately want to give us something we need even more. So my dear Libra, when external events force you to change direction, don't despair. Don't fight the tide. Don't spend all your energy trying to force things back to the way they were before. Instead breathe, accept, trust, and ask, Universe, where are you taking me? What do you want to show me? What new door is opening that I'm not yet able to see? Because I guarantee you, the answer will come. The new door will appear. And when it does, you will look back and be grateful for that external event that seemed so terrible at the time. You will be grateful for the door that was closed, because it was precisely that closure that led you to the opening that changed your life in a way you could never have imagined. Sign 10. You feel an inexplicable peace after the door closes. This is a bonus sign, the 10th sign, and perhaps the most revealing of all. After the door finally closes, after you stop fighting, after you accept that it wasn't meant to be, you feel an inexplicable peace. It's as if a huge weight has been lifted from your shoulders. It's as if you can breathe again. It's as if you can finally relax. And this peace is the ultimate confirmation that the universe was truly protecting you all along. Think about how this works. If that door was truly the right door for you, when it closed you would feel deep sadness, emptiness, loss. You would feel that something essential had been ripped away from you. But when it's a door that the universe closed to protect you, the feeling is completely different. Yes, there may be an initial moment of frustration or confusion, but soon after comes this peace, this relief, this feeling that deep down you already knew that it wasn't for you. For Libra, who sometimes takes a long time to make decisions because they endlessly weigh all the pros and cons, this peace after the decision is taken out of their hands is especially significant. You no longer need to torture yourself wondering if you made the right choice. You no longer need to question whether you should have tried harder. The decision was made by higher powers, and this frees you from the responsibility of having to choose. And deep down in your heart you feel gratitude for it. This inexplicable peace is your spirit recognizing that it has been saved from something. It is your soul celebrating because you did not take that path that would have led you away from your true purpose. It is the universe giving you confirmation that it was right all along, that it saw things you couldn't see, that it loved you too much to allow you to take that path. And this peace comes accompanied by something even more beautiful. Renewed hope. Suddenly, you begin to see possibilities you didn't see before. Suddenly, you're excited by new ideas. Suddenly, paths you never even considered start to seem interesting. It's as if closing that door freed up space inside you for new things to enter. And these new things, yes, are the right ones. They are the ones that were waiting for you to become available. So if you're going through a time when a door has closed and you're still processing, pay attention to how you feel after the dust settles. If you feel peace, if you feel relief, if you even feel an inexplicable gratitude, that's the universe telling you, see? I told you so. I was protecting you. Now you are free to receive what is truly yours. Now you are aligned with your true path. Now you are ready for the blessings I have prepared for you. So my dear Libra, we have reached the end of this journey of revelation. You have just discovered the 9 signs, actually 10, that the universe is closing doors specifically to protect you. And I hope that now you understand that each closed door in your life was not rejection, it was redirection. It was not failure, it was protection. It was not the universe abandoning you. It was the universe loving you in the deepest way possible. From today onward, when you notice any of these signs, instead of despairing, take a deep breath and trust. Trust that there is a greater plan for your life. Trust that you are being guided. Trust that the best things are yet to come. Because the universe never closes a door without opening a window. In fact, it opens entire gates, but you can only see them when you stop forcing that door that it is trying to keep closed to protect you. Always remember, you are a loved being. You are a protected being. You are a guided being. And every step you take, even the steps that seem backward, are leading you exactly to where you need to be. Trust the process. Trust divine timing. Trust the wisdom of the universe that loves you more than you can imagine. Now I want to know from you. Which of these signs resonated most with your experience? Have you ever been in situations where a door closed, and you later discovered it was a form of protection? Leave your birth date in the comments and tell your story. Let's create a chain of trust and gratitude for the divine protection we all receive. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Click the subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Because every week I bring you special content like this, made especially to help you understand the signs from the universe and live a life more aligned with your true purpose. If the messages in this video touched your heart, if you felt it was made especially for you, please consider becoming a subscriber or member of the channel. It is your support that keeps this work alive, spreading light, wisdom, and hope to thousands of people who need to hear these messages. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a huge difference. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching until the end. This shows that you are a person who is truly open to receiving messages from the universe. And you can be sure you didn't get here by chance. This video was placed in your path exactly at the moment when you most needed to hear these words. Trust in that. Always trust. May the light of the universe continue to guide you. May the right doors open for you. May the wrong doors close before you get hurt. And may you always have the wisdom to recognize the difference. A huge hug to your heart. And until the next video.